we are back from lunch. First thing on the agenda is Human Resource County Administrative Officer needs. This is, again, shared a little bit this morning, but what we've been doing is we've been having every other Wednesday meetings in our scheduled Wednesday meetings discussing the needs of the county. As the county grew over the last decade, there were some new positions created, but not an in-depth look at what is the right place to put people who should be doing what is the wisest use of personnel and resources. That's what we're doing here. Every time we have a discussion at our Wednesday meeting, we bring it to the Monday meeting so that we can follow up and let you guys know what's going on. Because it's on the agenda does not mean that there will be an affirmative vote on anything. It just means that we're letting you guys know. It's called transparency, and that's part of democracy, and sometimes it can be messy. But it is essential to what we do, and we are lucky to have this opportunity. So, with that, we had some homework from last Wednesday. Franklin, you were going to see if there were any HR opportunities. Did you get any answers?
I went into Mako on Wednesday, and Harold and Cheryl both were gone. They were gonna be gone all week.
Oh, sure, Easter.
Yeah, well, they were at meetings.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that particular day, I think they were 3 Forks somewhere. So anyway, I made a trip in there and wasn't able to find out anything.
Darn
What
it.
amount, yeah.
All right, on that, I called, last year I went to that HR training, and Michelle Pugari was the one putting it on. It was sponsored by Mako, and they put on periodic trainings for us. Our attendance at those trainings lowers our insurance, odd factor, which lowers our insurance bill. And she is having another training this Friday. So I called her about it, and she would potentially be interested in contracting with us. Again, from this morning, there's two different kinds of HR, two different elements of HR. There's administrative HR and there's payroll, legal HR. There's another company that she referred me to. They are interested in more of the entire package, which would be, they want to be full-time contractors. They want to do all our payroll, they want to do the administrative and the legal HR, which is a lot more expensive when it's ongoing like that. So Michelle suggested that she would just do HR for us if we're interested. Administrative HR would be done by the person doing payroll, which is what is being done now and is in the new job description for the accounting manager. The cost would probably be around the same, $14,000. It does put more responsibility on the commissioners. We're gonna have to be much more engaged with HR, much more knowledgeable, much more informed, attend trainings. I would strongly suggest that we 3 attend the training on Friday. It's in Butte. It also will put more responsibility on other. Yeah.
What time is that?
It's on the, I think it's 9 to 5. All day.
I have doctor's appointments, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine. You've got to put your health first. Perhaps Franklin and I can both go.
Okay.
And I'm also going to ask, I did send an email to you guys last week after talking with Michelle. I would like to invite all department heads with personnel that they oversee, as well as all other elected officials. To do this would put more responsibility on those folks as well, because they're going to be responsible for supervision of their employees, motivation of their employees, making sure that they themselves have their feet to the fire and are working appropriately for the citizens. So that's what I found. She strongly would like to know Broadwater County before committing to anything, before even coming to see us, and very much would like us to go to the training on Friday. It's free, doesn't cost us a dime.
Where they
So Butte, I don't know where, I'll have to find out. So that's the only other information I got. So nothing to make a decision on yet, but I guess what I would like is just to bring it out and some support from the commission that we attend this HR training and see if perhaps she would like to at least come and talk to us about meeting with us, and if we would like to meet her and see if we're interested in meeting with her.
Well, and I think it's important that we go, or you guys go, and just learn what is expected, what is needed.
Yeah, we know we have to have HR, we have a
Right.
legal directive. This is by far the least expensive option, is to contract it. So, that's all I have on this subject to bring forward. Do you have anything more you were gonna call and find out about any other
I didn't know.
options?
I mean, I called, but batted zero.
Okay. All right, so, nothing more on this potential protected, on this, issue?
No.
Okay. Elaine, you were gone, earlier today for public comment, but, there were quite a few people very concerned that we were hiring someone today, that's not on the agenda. It simply says needs. If we were gonna hire somebody, it would state that, and it would say dash decision, as we do. Yeah, if you look up at 1145, certificate of survey review support / decision. So there were some very upset people with the fact that they thought we were hiring somebody today, we were not gonna follow a process.
Where did they get that idea?
The rumor mill, and there wasn't any facts, to combat that, it was just rumor. And it took fire. So, I would like, yeah, I don't know. So, anything else from the board on this issue?
For me?
Okay, anything else from the public?
Oh, I just
Yes.
want a question. Are you gonna try and catch Mako guys this weekend?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else from the public on this issue? Nothing?
A question on the training that you have for Friday, is that put on by the state? Is that an HR training by the state? Or-
Nope, it's Mako.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Mako does a variety of trainings throughout the year on a variety of different things. This one is HR. They pay for the professional to come and do the teaching. If you contract, oftentimes you have to pay for that training to come to your county. So that's another savings for us if we do decide to contract our HR.
Because I know the
So-
state puts out, they do a full one-day training session in various places around the state regarding human resource issues, personnel issues specifically.
Yes.
They've been
And
doing
that-
that for a long.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
have, and I've attended some of those in the past, so
Yeah.
they were pretty beneficial.
They're excellent, and one of the things that we'll be needing to do is to bring that in if we were to contract, because again, the responsibility is gonna fall on our shoulders, on other electeds, on department heads. And getting as much training as possible is gonna be important. It is free from the state as well. So, yeah, there's an awful lot of things that we'll have to be looking at.
Hasn't personnel issues, always been the commissioner's responsibility?
There's no question there. However, if you have a full-time HR person employed, then employee grievances, employee complaints, that kind of thing goes to HR.
Right.
We did have an HR manager, and once the personnel issues actually got to be into the legal realm, we had to contract that out.
Right.
And because it was just one incident versus a package, it was a lot more expensive. But yeah, at that point, we were going to the professional because that's what you do when you get into that realm. So what we're looking at is we can either have HR in-house, or we can contract HR. The HR in-house, part of that was part of the city administrative officer, county administrative officer would be HR in-house versus contracted.
Right.
And that was one of the things we were looking at. And one of the reasons we were looking at it is just because we do have a problem right now with motivated employees, not motivated employees, but motivated elected officials who just simply are not doing their jobs. Well, when you have an employee that's slacking, if you yourself collectively are slacking, how do you come down on an employee? They can easily say, well, so-and-so doesn't even come here except for, once in a while. So
Aren't all your elected officials on the same, and they wouldn't necessarily have to
that's exactly right.
report to
However,
the HR person necessarily?
That's right.
and those are some of the arguments that actually pointed some arrows towards this idea of a county administrative officer. We have no authority over elected officials. However, if those elected officials are willing to be responsible to the public, do the hours at least that they're paid for,
Mhm.
then they themselves will be managing their employees, and we don't have a need for an in-house HR professional. Then we can contract. But that's the trade-off. If we contract, we are gonna have at least some kind of verbal buy-in from the elected officials and department heads that they are going to be engaged, they're gonna follow HR, they're not gonna try and thwart the system to benefit their buddies. You know, there's gonna have to be a team effort in order to go the least expensive, most responsible direction.
And I'm sorry, apologize for being late, I didn't catch Michelle's last name and
Pugari.
who she's with.
I believe she's an independent HR specialist. She has a couple of law degrees with other states. I don't think they're with Montana. But, you know, as long as she's an HR specialist, that's,
Do you have a
that's
spelling
the
on
part.
her last name?
I do. I will tell you that just because Mako hires her for the trainings, that is the avenue to which I contacted her, was really through Mako's
Okay.
leadership. I'm gonna butcher this, but I'm gonna come close. Puiggari.
Puiggari.
Uh-huh.
I think
Yes.
that's a pretty good
And
shot.
Michelle with one L. I got that one right. Michele.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you bet. And there's some others too. I did email Jim Nyes and asked him if he knew of anybody else, and he sent me the name of somebody from Belgrade that I've never heard of before. Michelle called me, we sat on the phone for an hour and a half just talking about possibilities. So, you know, whatever we wanna do on that. The problem is we are coming up on having no HR, and that's legally not gonna be a very smart place to be.
And Mako's gonna be on our case.
Again, yeah, so,
Actually, even if employees were exempt anyway, would
Say that again?
It has to be 100 employees before we're required to have one, right?
Oh, I don't think so, I don't know, I've never
I
heard that.
think you're talking health insurance. This is HR, human resources. This is personnel law,
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't think there's anything in there.
no, no.
I may be
Tim.
wrong.
Madam Chair, Tim Evans, just real quick question, is this training, seminar, whatever title it is, on this HR, that's in Butte, is that, just strictly for, elected and or those directly connected, or is it open to the public?
I would imagine, I don't know, you know what, if you're interested in going and listening in, I would suggest you call Mako, as you are not covered by Mako as a member.
That's why I asked the question.
I would imagine that there has to be some kind of fee, because they are paying for her services. They represent the counties, not the public, so, you know.
Can you send a proxy? Oh,
Better yet, I'll send you to the doctor's office, isn't it?
There you go.
no proxies, no, we're
I'll
gonna
go.
stop there, time out. I got my own.
So,
Madam Chair, I have a question. if you-
yes,
Why did Personnel Plus decide not to go forward? I thought you guys had decided that might be the way to go, and why did they change their mind, or we change our mind, or?
we did not change our mind. He was offering his contracting services after getting to know our county for a year, at $14,400,
Right.
which is pretty darn inexpensive.
Mhm.
He came in February, shared his expertise with us, told us what he thought we needed. We listened for a good long time. And because he could not get a commitment from him, or from us, from the commission, to work with him, he finally said, well, I'll go ahead and do an HR audit. He didn't come back for 2 months. We followed up and he said, you know what? Broadwater County has way too many needs right now and is too dysfunctional. So I'm not interested. Looking at cutting back my hours and retiring. So if you're interested, I'd be happy to refer you guys to somebody else. So that's one of the reasons I'm saying, if we contract HR, we have got to have the buy-in of this commission. We've got to start working for the county and stop just trying to hurt each other. We've got to offer that leadership to the other elected officials in this county. They're gonna have to have dedication to this as well. And so are our department heads, which, you know, look up to all the elected officials, at least in the org chart. So the leadership comes from this commission, and I would hope that with all this going on, that we can start looking at the positives of this county and start moving ahead in a direction that is healthy again. Thank you. You bet.
Madam Chairman, one thought is, you know, we talked quite some time back about taking turns spending a day in the office. And I'm as guilty as anybody and have not, mainly because of health problems, but that's no excuse. Nevertheless, I think that all three of us need to do that. Take a day, that's your day, and be there. And not a Monday or a Wednesday.
Right. Yeah, I agree. It needs to happen. We have a lot of things going on right now. We have 75 employees we're responsible for, and we simply cannot do our job by coming in at 10 o'clock Monday and leaving as soon as the meeting is over.
No.
There's
No way
just,
to run a road. No way to run a railroad.
no. We're CEOs. Would you hire a bank CEO and never see him? No, there's a lot more responsibility to it than that.
There is.
Yeah. So that would be great, and if you guys want to talk about, you know, a structure to that, that'd be great. If you just want to do it, that'd be great too.
I'm willing to do it. I just think it needs to be here. We need to be able to be seen here by the employees and the public.
Mhm.
And granted, with emails always back and forth with stacks every day, but I think it's important that we be right here, in person.
Yeah, and that's some of that leadership.
So from now on, Tuesdays are mine.
All right, sounds good.
If I'm gonna do a week, I might as well do a week, huh?
Sounds good. Roger, I saw your hand up.
There is another avenue to go to if you should choose to fill a position of Chief Administrative Officer. I've been in contact with Mike Cooney, who runs all of the job service offices. And I asked him point blank if the job services have any training in HR. And he said, no, we don't, but I'd sure be interested in hearing a proposal that we start a program within the job services to professionally train HR people. He also told me that if I wanted, I was more than welcome to contact their chief personnel person. Her last name is McKay, and she belongs to a professional organization of personnel officers, and that the chief administrative officer of this county could very easily join that professional organization and receive all of their training. So there's that avenue too, if you should go the route of a professional chief administrative officer. So I've already checked that out.
Good to know.
All right, excellent. Any other comments on this? All right, we have just a few minutes before our 2 o'clock. So what we're gonna do is continue to do our homework, is that kind of what I'm hearing? Okay. I just wanted to bring out one quick little thing here. These are, I gave you copies from our lunch date.
Mhm.
There it is, right on the top. Just a couple of very small things. This is just an official request, and I'd like it on the record. I would like a correction to the article that ran in the Broadwater Reporter by James Green. County voters to decide on citizen review of types of local government. There were a number of errors in this report. The first one is in paragraph 3. In addition to a review, the county commissioner has set aside a half mil, approximately $6,200 to cover costs that may accrue during the process. This is an article about both the local government review for the county and the city. There's absolutely nothing mentioned about the city and what they have done to cover costs. These were presented and available to the public at the meetings as well as today, and I'm going to make copies for Trudy. But we have a resolution from the city, and they have this, when you're talking about the money, this is going to be an additional mill to the taxpayers of the cities should they vote for the local government study review team.
Would you say that again? That is.
Yes, this is a resolution put together by the city, and it matches ours. And they have also been tasked with putting together a proposal, a vote to the public to see if the public would like 3 members to review the local government of the city of Townsend. And they have not to exceed $9,000 to cover the local government study commission, consisting of 3 members to examine the government of the city of Townsend and submit recommendations on the government. So, $9,000 for the city. I'll make copies afterwards.
And I'll call Mary on that.
Perfect. And then the county put together, well, we didn't put it together, these resolutions were put together word for word by the legislature, and we are tasked with following them word for word. The county put together 0.5 of a mill for a 3-member commission to examine the government of Broadwater County and submit recommendations on the government. 0.5 of a mill also said in our resolution, in parentheses, approximately $6,500. And that is also for public. Again, James Green writes, have set aside a half mil, approximately $6,200. We haven't set aside anything. This is up to the county voters if they want to pay for it. And that is also not a decision by us, but the Constitution of the state of Montana, when they implemented this, decided it was going to be 1 mil of additional taxes. Then it went to the legislature, and the legislature said counties can decide. But it is up to the voters to decide if they want to pay for it or not. We're not setting aside any money. I also have emails from Mako and a question and answer sheet on this that I'll also make copies of. And then the other thing is just kind of opinion. This is a great topic. It's important to the public. And I thought a lot of what he covered as far as the different types of government was great. But then the last paragraph is an opinion piece. It should be, let me just reiterate, James wasn't here for this meeting. Only Bill Kearns was here for this meeting. The county commissioners have begun what appears to be a serious evaluation of a proposal by and for which Mr. Roger Halver has submitted his resume for a new position and would become de facto executive administrator of Broadwater County if hired. False, 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 and false. We take ideas from people all the time. Roger Halver is not the first one to say, you know what, I see a need for Broadwater County and here's my resume. A gentleman did this when we were looking at an interim temporary DES coordinator during fire season. We were in a very difficult position because we were in the middle of fire season and had nobody to handle DES. We did not hire him, but he did help this commission to understand the importance of having a DES coordinator, even if it was interim and temporary. We take ideas all the time. We take paperwork all the time. Anybody who's been here at 10 a.m. on Monday has seen us take a mountain load of paperwork from John Wright. We do this as our job. We are polite, we listen to ideas, we discuss them, we mull them over like we did today, and then we make a decision based on education and information. That we would ever create a position by and for someone is absolutely a false accusation, 100%. We don't do that. That used to be done in the 50s. It's not done today. And the new position would become de facto executive administrator. No, the correct, I sent an email to Mako and I said, hey, this is what we've been asked to do, and it's a county manager. And I was told, no, you need to use the correct terminology because of the forms of government. And this is something that if James is gonna go into a personal comment, he needs to get his facts. The correct terminology is county administrator officer. The reason for that is there is a commission executive form. To have an executive administrator, you have to have a form of government. We do not. A county manager, like I'd asked about, you have to have a commission manager form of government to have that. We do not. A county administrative officer or a chief administrative officer, there are 7 counties right now that are commission forms of government, just like us, that have that position. Lewis and Clark, Missoula, Kalispell, Petroleum, Gallatin, Mineral, I can't remember the last one.
Is Red Abbott?
No, they were not on the list. So it's something legally we could do. That's it. We have made no decisions. We've created no position. We've done no advertising. Again, you would know if we had, because we would have done it with you as you're the newspaper of record. We are collecting ideas. We're collecting input from the public. It's transparency. Transparency is ugly. Democracy is messy. But it is so essential to what we do. And we need a partner in our newspaper to bring forward those facts so that when we are transparent and we do collect ideas from the public, just the facts are printed in black and white in the newspaper. So I think that's all I have to say on that. And I will get you those copies.
Madam Chair, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Being as I missed this morning, Nick Corthals, tell me what he's had to say.
He just updated us on what he's been here to see us for about 3 or 4 times before. He did want us to vote to move forward on going with the state meals, which we did. He's going to start that with the new fiscal year. He's got the money to pay for the oven and the construction work that needs to be done to house it.
It's gonna be right out here, correct?
He did provide such good customer service to the inmates that he had a couple of them actually apply for the jobs that he listed. But that's a lot for our guys. He is trying to follow the jail standards that were just adopted, and that does dictate that he has to have some more staff. And he has the money to cover that. Training costs with the high turnover due to the amount he's paying, he did ask us to consider not a market adjustment, a increase due to, not Davis-Bacon, but, whatever it is, the basic, with the state. lowest-
Prevailing wage.
Thank you very
You're welcome.
much. Prevailing wage. And so he's gonna bring that to us, he has the money for it. But that'll help him save on training costs and turnover costs.
So now this is gonna affect our hospital, is it not?
It is, it is. He has been working and talking extensively with Jenny and Kyle about that. It will probably cost 2 employees over there. The thing is, though, is Nick's weighing out the different options. And what he's looking at is he was hired as administrative officer of the detention center, and his responsibility is to run it like a business, like he said he was going to do. So he's trying to weigh it out by being part of a team and a partner with, with our hospital versus trying to be fiscally responsible for his detention center.
It is my understanding that he and Kyle talked, and they were gonna tell him that they thought maybe they shouldn't be doing
Yeah, there's definitely some number crunching that's been going on both sides. Yeah, so this may actually end up being a win-win for both sides.
Figured out savings about 86,000 for the next year.
That's quite a savings.
That's right.
So, it was a good meeting with him.
Good.
Then we did vote to let him go ahead and move forward. If he doesn't let them know that we're committed, they could very easily, they have 1 slot left. If they feel that was somebody else, we're out. There's no option. So that's why he felt a little bit urgent.
And
Yeah.
rightfully so.
Yeah. And we're gonna add him to the agenda next week to discuss his employees and the prevailing wage. Yeah, so, right, anything else? Roger?
Laura, concerning the chief administrative officer then, it's my understanding that you're exploring two options. One is to contract HR, okay, and the other is the chief administrative officer.
Yes.
And how long do you think this might take before you come to a decision?
You know,
As long as it takes.
yeah, it took us 2 months to get to the point of actually moving forward with the accounting manager. So it could take us a couple of months. We meet every other Wednesday on this stuff. So at this point, you know, I don't have a guesstimate other than it's a slow process. It's slow because it's methodical. We look at every option. We look at it a couple times. We hash it out. It's just a slow process, so it's gonna take a while.
Thank you.
You bet. All right, 2 o'clock. There's nothing else. All right, Sean Bryant, BOR, Goose Bay Road and access to federal lands grant. Come on up, Sean.
Okay.
Sorry.
So, yeah, I asked to get put on the agenda today because I wanted to, I guess, give you guys an update or whatever on this federal lands access program grant. I think you already know that the deadline has passed for the initial, what was it called? Surface preservation grant applications. And, you know, I guess Bill was contacted by someone from an engineering company.
Sean Higley.
Yeah, and so, I think Bill, you know, immediately took this up to the Billings office, you know, when he found out about it. And there was some concern with the Billings office on a couple of 3 things. There's, as always, you know, as has happened in the past, there's concern about whether we're really able to you know, provide funds for something that's not on Bureau of Reclamation land. And then the other concerns with it were timing, because it was only 5 days before it was due or something. And the other thing was, I guess, the manner in which the agency was contacted about it. So my understanding from Bill is, and Bill's the one who's had the conversation, he couldn't make it today, with, I guess, with the engineering firm, that you guys might be considering the other grant, which is the capital improvement grant. If you are, I guess I would urge you to submit a request to us from the county to the Bureau of Reclamation in writing, saying that you're gonna apply for the grant and you would like us to participate in it. I don't know what the outcome of that would be, but since there was concern with the manner in which it was transmitted the last time, I guess I would think that would be a good idea.
Define manner.
Well, because we were contacted by an engineering company, not by the county.
Oh, he was the county engineer.
He was
So
handling it.
you were contacted by the county.
Well, and it was just verbally, you know, 4 or 5 days before the grant application was due. So I think it would be really good to submit something in writing saying that you would, and, you know, again, I don't know what the outcome of that will be, but in order for it to be considered, I think it has to be done in a certain way,
Okay,
so. And, because I still don't know what the answer is on the, as far as providing funds for something that's not on reclamation land, there was concern about that. Even providing matching funds for something, which, I've read over the grant stuff and I know it says that we can provide, you can, typically on a federal grant application like that, you can't provide matching funds as a federal agency, but on this one you can, so that door is open at least, so.
okay.
So, I guess the gist of it is maybe something in writing saying that you'd like us to participate in it, you'd like the agency to participate in it, and you would like us to be providing matching funds.
Okay. All right, any other,
Address it to Bill.
Yeah, it should come through our office first, the Canyon Ferry office first,
okay,
so. And I spoke to Bill before this morning, when I found out that he wasn't gonna be here, and he had another issue that he wanted me to bring up. Is it appropriate to do that? It's not on this subject.
yeah,
Okay, it's about the docks.
okay,
At Silos. When you guys submitted the written proposal to us, it shows you adding the docks, all of the docks onto the end of the existing docks. Is that still the plan?
yeah, I believe so, I haven't seen anything updated, I can double check.
I think it's
Why,
still the
is
same.
that,
I think it's still the same, I haven't heard anything different.
is there something there that's sending off some kind of red flags for you guys that needs to be addressed before?
Well, it seemed like the discussion at the trust board meeting was not that, it was, part of the docks were gonna go somewhere else.
Oh, no, there's 4 different sets of docks, and 3 of them are going along, or 2. There might be 3 sets of docks now. I think there's 3. Anyway, 2 are going alongside, but there's that one that's gonna be the public use. That should be in there as well. There's, Steve McCullough had asked Sharon to take one of the docks and make it free for the public off to the north a little bit more.
So that's not on what we received.
Okay, I will double check with Sharon, because it should have been.
And what we're trying to do here is make sure that we're covered as far as if we have to do some kind of compliance activities. Because the main things that come into play with compliance activities is if there's gonna be some kind of anchoring system or something there's gonna be excavation on the shoreline or within the lake bed, pile driving, anything like that. If there's gonna be something like that, there's compliance that has to be done on it, and it takes, a minimum of 60 days to get through that
I don't
process.
think there's any of that, is there?
No, John Palmer, who did the previous docks,
Mhm.
he's gonna do the same mechanism he did, I believe, with, no, I'm not an expert on this, so forgive me, but it's either Goose Bay or Broadwater Bay, one of them.
He did Broadwater Bay.
Right, okay, so it's not, it's more of a floating dock that gravity holds it to the sand, and then he connects some kind of a U-joint to the foundation. So he's got the plans for
Okay.
that drawn up too. And that you don't have, because we just
Yeah.
got it.
It's
I
good. It'd be
have
really
it.
good if we could get that, because then
I have it here
Covered, yeah.
with instructions to make copies and get you a copy. I just haven't got
Okay.
to it today. But you can look through here if you want, and I'll get those copies to you.
well, as long as you get the copies of it. Sure, that's fine.
I could give him my copy.
This is a different one. This is the Army Corps of Engineers. The
Alright.
FWP is gonna get a copy, but they don't, theirs is for streams. And we're gonna send a copy to NRCS, but their permit didn't get matched either. So, but we're gonna keep everybody in the loop.
Okay.
Now we just need to put some water in there so we can do it.
And I just say we because I happened to attend the meeting and volunteered to make the copies for the trust board,
Yeah,
so,
that'd be great if we can get a copy of that, because that way
okay.
we'll have our end of it.
I'll scan them and send it to you this afternoon if that works,
Yeah. that's-
okay? So, Sean, on Goose Bay, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but there were some changes to subdivision law regarding campgrounds.
Mhm.
If it turns out that your vehicle trips per day equate to your having to pave Goose Bay Road, would you be able to circumvent that new Montana law based on the fact that you don't do anything off of BOR property? It's probably a legal question I'm asking you, but if there's a requirement, maybe that's the crux for us to work together on this capital improvement grant. You'd have to pay the money anyway.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. so
Okay.
we'd have to-
It's something for the memory banks. We still don't know what the exact requirements are. Tara Depew and Susan Swinley are working on it,
Mhm.
but that's a possibility. I'm hopeful,
Mhm.
just saying.
Yeah, well, obviously a starting point to that is submitting the request to us, you know, and then you can, but if there's something that you think is appropriate to put in there, you know, regarding changes in regulations or something, then I'd encourage you to put it in there,
Okay,
you know, so.
we may wait till we get our decision. Can't be much longer.
How is Goose Bay coming?
Well, they just, I believe the print-ready specification was finished last Friday. And so, what it looks like is that it's probably gonna go out for bids, probably, in June of this year. And according to this last schedule I got, it looks like the bids would close in 26th of July, somewhere around there. So it wouldn't actually be awarded until construction contract wouldn't be awarded until September. So I think at this point realistically, you're looking at maybe the construction being complete on it by October of 2015, maybe. If everything goes well.
Because it always does, doesn't it?
Yes.
There's
always.
never any glitches or holdups.
So yeah, so as far as getting a new concession operator in there, you know, it looks like it can't really happen until, I mean, it wouldn't happen until that 2016 season. You know, the process for getting a concession operator is going on, I guess, right now. So, in fact, we have a conference call about it tomorrow morning. Because that's not a short process either.
Sure.
Will people be able to use that before the 16th year?
Use the concession area?
No. The campground part.
Well, our campground is gonna stay open, it'll be open this year. And this summer, the boat ramp area will be open as well.
You will open the boat ramp this summer.
Yeah, that's the plan, to have the boat ramp area and then, of course, the reclamation managed
Yeah.
campground will be open as well.
So speaking of boat ramps, the boats, and water. Anything you can tell us?
Well, actually, we just got a new operating plan this morning, which now says that we are going to be, I think we were looking at, before the operating plan that was in place before today was, we were looking at full pool somewhere right around Memorial Day, but now that's not gonna happen. It's, we're gonna stay right around the, and I can't remember what we are today, but 3778 elevation for until the end of May, and it looks like we probably wouldn't be up to, we would be maybe 3782 by Memorial Day, which is, you know, quite a bit lower than our full pool level of 3797. So it looks like the 3797, we would reach full pool until it's probably not till the end of June, maybe.
So what does that mean as far as, I got the elevations, but today it's just mud, and you can see the docks at many places that are about 5 feet off the water or the mud. At what point, based on those numbers, do the docks actually get to the point where you can launch from them? Not the docks,
The boat ramps.
yeah, the ramps.
They vary, you know, that's, and I guess I don't have those offhand with me, but they're on our website. You can go and see each boat ramp, where the end of the ramp is, elevation at the end of the ramp, and then, and it also, you can go on there and see what elevation we're at currently, which I think we're probably around that, the 3778, maybe 3779 today. And it's probably gonna stay there for quite a while, for the next few weeks at least.
Yeah, 'cause you run the whole chart for another, over a month at least, normally, the river runoff.
Yeah, because we're, they're still adjusting operations based on projected inflow at the Sun River, you know, and so what we're being asked to do is have space there to hold water in case they get that runoff from the Sun River, and, you know, so that there's not too much coming into Great Falls at once. So,
I think they learned that lesson a few years ago, that people are complaining they want where they filled the lake up and the high water didn't come to them. Well, it usually does, like Memorial Day and through there, and they flood it down through Great Falls and all that area.
yeah, well, it's kind of another one of those kind of unusual years, because it seems like a lot of the snow that's down low is gone already, but there's still quite a bit up high, but we're still getting cold at night, so it's not melting off at a very quick rate. And that was like in 2011, you know, we had those few 80-degree days, and boy, it all came. We went from like lower than we are now, all the way up to full pool and spilling as much water as we could in less than 2 weeks. So that's the best information that I have right now for reservoir elevation.
We got an answer, but it's not the one we were looking for.
Yeah, I know, and it wasn't the one that the concession operators were looking for either.
No.
Nobody's smiling, huh?
Yeah.
No, we appreciate the information
I
though.
don't know what to say about that, but yeah, if you know, there's the operating plans, like I say, are posted on our website, so you can go on there and look at them, as is the current elevation. There's a boat ramp, end of boat regulations, you know, I think of Goose Bay and, you know, and, Shannon are probably the, you know, the first ones that are in the water. I don't know what Goose Bay, where we're at on the Goose Bay boat ramp at this point, but as far as elevation.
Hey, Sean, not to change the subject, but changing the subject a minute. You said that you were going to be going out for bid in July and you were getting the final plan approved. Have you gone through the planning board for Broadwater County?
We're working with them, yes.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to be sure that that step was covered.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah, there's some new, regulations as far as, campground, configuration and distances from services and that type of stuff that we're working through, I think, right now, as far as, you know, because of the licensing factor, you know, if there's a concession operator similar to the other ones that we have in place now, you know, the concession contracts require them to have a license to operate the campground from, well, the state / the county, basically. And that's with the sanitary and the Department of Public Health, so yeah, those things are all coming into consideration, so.
okay,
Yeah.
very good. Anything else for Sean? Yes. Thank you very much. The picnic area at Silos, Sharon. We talked on Wednesday about possibly having a joint public meeting. They would like to, Al Christofferson suggested in a letter to us that we have a meeting out there so that we can kind of eyeball things and look at some alternatives, evaluate Sharon's proposal out there. We did vote, no, we didn't, we tabled our vote. But how would you like us to put that request to you? Do you want that also in writing, that we would like to request that BOR work with us for the public meeting, through the public meeting process on this? What are you guys looking for from us at this point?
Well, I think that would be the best thing to do, is do something in writing, you know. I think from the agency standpoint, the interest here is making sure that we've done whatever due diligence that we need to do in order to get everybody's input, or interested parties' input, anyway.
Okay,
Or so that people have the opportunity to provide that.
there's a couple of people who would like to see the day use areas incorporated into the concessionaire area, so that it can be a option that we can look at. Again, I can submit that into a letter. What's the process?
Well, and you guys actually submitted that once, and we got wound up in the agreement, renewing the agreement, and that was kind of our decision, that we wouldn't muddle that up by trying to put that in there while we were trying to renew the agreement. But, so, I would, because it's old, I would just submit it again. I think that we're certainly willing to consider that.
Okay.
It makes sense.
It does, as
Do
long as
things
there's
that
some
way.
facilities
Yeah.
out there. All right. Thank you.
So yeah, that'd be good. We can submit something to us.
Okay,
We can get it going through the process.
all right. We will do that.
I know I hate using that word, the process, but
It fits though.
that's what it's about.
It is, yeah. If there was another word to be used, it would also be overly used.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so,
All right, well, we will get you the letter with all the particulars, and mail it to you as soon as we can. And I will send you that Army Corps of Engineers stuff,
great.
okay?
All right.
Thanks a lot, Sean.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Yep, you too.
All right, we are done with mail. The hospital would like a support letter from us that I will bring also on Wednesday unless one of you cares to write it. What they're looking at is just doing a study on assisted living options. And they have a support letter already from the city, which is cycling from the county. Doesn't cost us anything, but we don't have anything drafted to bring forth at this point. So we finally have, we tabled this because we ran out of time. We went over the adjusting journal entries, and this is for March 2014. And what I'll do is just pass them one at a time. And maybe when we're done, we can just go ahead and sign the whole package and then initial them like we used to on the sheets. And these have also been down in our mail. And anyone's more than welcome at any time to come and look at this stuff. And it's not in any order, just as it's coming through our mail, I've just put it in our mail slot for us to review. Perfect, would you make copies of this too? Thank you very much. I think just one is fine. All right. Yes. Yeah. All right, thanks.
Excuse me, Madam Chair?
Yes.
Could I ask a question?
Sure.
I was gonna do it with Sean, but everything kind of moved along and he's gone, but, with the project ongoing at Moose Bay, taking that BOR, putting it in a new concession, the issue over the road, it's been discussed a couple times where the county goes so far and then BOR has a remainder of that road. In their project, in their proposal, are they committed to and/or in the project analysis going to improve that section of their road for sure, or is that not even on the table at this time? Do you
No,
know?
that's what we were discussing.
Yeah, I know, that's,
Yeah.
but I didn't ever get that straight, whether they were going to do anything on their side.
They didn't
I know they
commit to
don't want to
anything,
combine, but,
and they're not going to, because that's the way it works. But what we discussed was a new law that went through the legislature last session that changed campgrounds into subdivisions. With that law, there is a requirement that requires paving or improvement to roads with so many vehicle trips per day. The question at this point with the land use attorneys is, do those land use trips per day require, how are they calculated for a campground? And do they require that road be paved? Because when you get to a certain number, you have to pave the road. We've seen it on a couple of county roads, not a lot. Wheatland is one, the First Mile and Price Road is another. So that's what we're waiting on. I think it's pretty clear that they don't feel that they need to do anything
Okay.
until they are under some kind of a mandate, perhaps Montana state law, subdivision regulations to do something.
long
There
answer,
is a
but-
grant
Okay.
that we've discussed, and there's a lot of different options with that. It's a new program. It's called Access to Federal Lands. And that's what is on the agenda, is that particular grant. So there's a lot of things that we're looking at. But yeah, nothing was committed to today.
No, I know, and I knew that. I was just, I guess rephrase my question. BOR, from its original termination of the concession and what's been going on out there with Goose Bay, have they, the question I was trying to ask was, have they ever talked, or in their process of future planning, talked about that section of the BLM, or BOR road specifically, to do anything with it? Because that road down there on BOR is certainly just as bad, if not worse, than the upper end on the county, and just was curious if they,
That's what we were just talking about. There's some confusion though about who owns that road or whose it is.
Okay.
BOR says it's not theirs.
oh,
The county said yes it is, says yes it is.
okay.
We're not sure whose it is, but the bottom line is, it's about 4.5 miles that something needs to get done on. If they are required to pave it, that road is part of what they will be required to pave all the way to the highway, because that's how it's calculated.
Okay, it's all calculated as one piece.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
I thought there was a line there, that they were saying this is ours and we'll deal with ours and you guys are on your own. That's
No.
usually what happens with government? There's an
Well, in this
imaginary line
case,
and-
yeah, in this case, they're saying none of it's ours.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's why
That makes
it's really
sense.
frustrating.
Now I got my, now I'm straight on that.
Yeah,
Are you done?
Yes, ma'am.
What is, you said that they switched to subdivision,
the campground is actually considered a subdivision.
so I'm missing the point here. What does that mean? Does that mean it's for tax reasons? Why did they do that? Does that mean?
It's related to what's going on in the Bakken, the oil fields.
Okay,
And I'm not sure of all the particulars, I can just give you the real surfacey stuff.
right,
But basically, there were a lot of abuses in eastern Montana with the Bakken. People using old cars to dump sewage, I mean, you
okay,
know,
when
pretty-
you're close to the bank.
right. So what there was a lease to own is what the bill was called, or lease or rent. And what they wanted to do in the eastern part of the state was allow as many, you know, trailers, RVs, tents on a person's private ground as possible, regardless of their septic system, just because they needed places to stay. So the legislature, to answer that, said, okay, let's do campgrounds, but they have to be monitored and they have to have some kind of regulation. So we'll make campgrounds subdivisions. So now they can determine how big a septic system has to be. An agency like BOR already has that in place. A private person putting it in campground doesn't. So that's probably a lot of what was behind that. But it is heavily related to sewage, dumping of raw sewage where they shouldn't have been.
So does that affect the tax bracket then, as far as that when you do that?
Probably not,
I
no.
think that's where I'm not.
A federal agency doesn't pay taxes anyway, that's why we get PILT, is for public lands that are federal. So it wouldn't change that at all. Um,
So I was confused when you said that they went to subdivision.
yeah, yeah. It's a different set of regulations now that they'll follow, and those regulations spill onto roads, which is why we're interested.
Okay, now I can, thanks.
Yeah,
It's confusing.
it is, and that's why it takes so long to learn this job, and there has to be a dedication really trying to get underneath all this stuff and ask questions and be open to hearing answers, because it is very complicated. Yeah, and it can be really boring. But you have to understand it, at least rudimentarily, so that you can have a discussion and know what to ask for.
No other questions to ask.
Exactly,
Well,
yeah.
I think they're all done in my opinion, I can
Amen.
ask one, just take their own open.
No, actually, those are really good questions, because
How to ask it.
that is exactly what you'd be thinking about is, what are the ramifications?
And why change, it? Why did they switch it? That's where I, why,
Yeah,
After the fiasco, they put down on us from DOR, from DOR,
yeah.
the subdivision reclassification.
I'm getting scared.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any information on the local government advisory council met with them.
Yeah.
That would be something interesting to write about as
Yeah.
well, just because it
See
affected
where
us
they are,
personally.
because I've seen some information at one point, but I never saw a follow-up.
Yeah, I haven't either, but I'm very curious.
And even though NCA usually claims it's the issue to find out what it really means.
Yeah, I think it's right, it really needs to be beginning instead of beating around the bush. That's ridiculous.
Notice the check on that one. Oh,
This is- I didn't want to go by and tell you that.
Did your luncheon with the hospital have a good report?
I didn't get to go. These guys went.
it did. Yeah, which, you know, it was kind of just business, studying the numbers, looking at, you know, business actions. But we did ask some of the different questions that we've heard from the public. So, yeah, it was very good. Franklin, you have anything to add to that?
No, did mention that, aging, maybe putting a building up or something like that, they're gonna maybe have a study on that. To get,
Bring a new building up?
see if they, what they can find. How much demand there'd be for it, feasibility, I don't think any cost yet.
Study.
And when you say build a new building, one would, without knowing the context of that, one would think, oh, they're building a new hospital? No. So
No,
to fill
sure.
in, it's, what they're looking at is a grant to study an assisted living facility. They sent out that mailer to a bunch of citizens and got feedback on what they want. One thing that people are asking for locally is assisted living, because ours is full, or there's a wait list. So what they wanna do is know, is there a need? And if so, what is the extent of the need? And what types of need is there? So, their grant writer is Mia Whitfield, and I would imagine she's the one that's written this grant, and they're just asking for support letters from the city and the county. That's it. But it's not a new hospital, it's just assisted living.
I said assisted living, didn't I?
I did not hear it.
Didn't I say assisted living? Oh, okay.
So is it just like a, that would be like a daycare for assisted in daytime form, like a daycare center like kids?
Assisted living is generally living
Okay,
independently
daycare,
with
well.
assistance. So it's one of those where you could possibly have your own kitchen, but you have a button that you can push to get into trouble, kind of like
Like
that.
from right by my house on Elm Street.
Yes, exactly.
Or similar to
Yep.
the old restaurant up on the hill up here.
So I was
It's not a
thinking-
restaurant,
other than
it's
there, they-
assisted living.
they
I was
do all the
thinking
cooking.
if I could drop off, like you do your children, you drop them off during the daytime when you go to work, where you got your place where you can drop off your adults too. And pick them up, well, they have them, you know, that's
They
what
do.
we see if we can
Across
do
from the
something
school.
to look into.
Yep, yeah, this is,
Well, I don't know what else to call it.
yeah.
That'd be a possibility to look into, might be a children, I don't know.
What's that?
That's good.
Yes,
Take that off.
absolutely.
So you're gonna pen out that letter of support?
We can do that. We had an agency on aging meeting this week, and DPHHS just sent out numbers of people who have moved to different areas in this region over 60 years of age, and our increase was 67.59%.
Whoa,
60 years of age and older only. Yeah,
that's quite a number.
it was a big jump, very big jump.
What did it jump from?
The exact numbers I don't have, but it was a 67.59% increase. So, yeah, I have the report, but it's just not with me, so I'd be happy to share that with you.
That's quite a few.
Yeah.
And for a long time, this has been a bedroom of community for Helena and a lot of retired people.
Yes.
Where would they want to put it? Any idea?
That would be probably part of the study, you know, for years, some of that land next to the hospital's been available. There was the poor farm that was in process of being given to the county. There was a lot out of town that was targeted by, somebody a couple years ago. So, yeah, I don't know, taking over something that's already going, I understand there's a facility for sale. So, lots of different opportunities, lots of different options. I just, it's like with so many things, they're just looking into
Just
what those
looking.
are. Yeah, evaluating them, asking questions, looking into them.
Now, Tommy, does nursing home up on the hill still operate?
Yes.
Yeah, we have.
I was going to ask if they've gotten back up to full capacity, because when some of the discussions on reopening our nursing home here and getting that requalified, I had talked to George, and George had said he had 2 beds filled and 18 available. And then Tender Loving Care, I think it is, it's
Yeah,
right
TLC.
around the corner here. I think they had 5 beds that were available at that time. I don't know, I haven't been talked to them lately, but if they've actually filled up. Because when everything happened over here, a lot of folks that were there left and never did come back.
I'm not so
Again,
sure.
I understand there's that line between assisted living and nursing home care, which, but last I talked to both of them, they were hoping that things would turn around, that their private businesses would be able to get them beds filled.
Well, on TLC, if I may be
TLC,
wrong,
that's what it is.
only had 5 beds available, period.
I think there was one person in there the day I talked to,
Really? My mother was there after
think of
I
her.
brought her home from.
My
Haiti.
mom tried to get in there, and they were just full at that time.
They give very, very good care.
So, So there's definitely a need in the community and the county for a facility. It's just,
And it's gonna get worse from the sounds of it,
is it-
if there's that much of an increase.
they keep saying we're not getting any younger.
I keep telling myself that, and I look in the mirror and laugh.
That's defiance.
Huh?
That's the act of defiance.
All right. Anything else for the good of the order? Anything for community update? Franklin, did you do anything this week?
No.
When you were recovering,
I was recovering, but I had Rocky Mountain Development Council this week, so.
yes. I had trust board, you heard most of that, and agency on aging, because of the massive increase in seniors moving to this area, 80% increase in Jefferson County. DPHHS has restructured how they're divvying the money to the different areas, and we did see an increase, which is nice. We being Area 4, which is 6 counties. Gallatin, Lewis and Clark, Broadwater, Moore, Jefferson, and Park.
Wonder what was the catch there in Jefferson that it went up so high?
What was the catch here that went up so high? I have no idea. No idea.
People like to come here for hunting and fishing,
Yeah, yeah. The lake,
the lake.
hunting, down in Jefferson.
Yeah,
Yeah,
lack of traffic.
yeah. One thing about both counties, Broadwater and Jefferson, is you've got parts of the county that are close to the cities for different needs, medical, perhaps. So, yeah, I don't know what the reason was. Sorry about that. But it was interesting.
It's very interesting.
Yeah. And then do the right thing with Board of Crime Control on Saturday was pretty spectacular.
Was it?
Yeah. So that was it for my week. So if there's nothing else for the good of the order, we will adjourn. Going, gone. Adjourn. All right.
Tim, check this out. I just got this just before I come up here. My nephew is being held by Joe Biden.